In the heart of the African savannah, where the sun painted the grass golden, lived a most unusual tiger. Her name was Tala, and she was unlike any tiger you've ever seen. Tala's coat wasn't orange with black stripes. No, her fur shimmered like polished gold, with stripes that sparkled like starlight. When she moved, it looked as if she was made of living sunbeams. Tala, I love to explore every nook and cranny of the savannah. My big green eyes are always wide with wonder. There's so much to see and hear. She would spend hours watching the clouds change shape in the sky, or she'd listen to the stories the wind whispered through the tall grass. Tala believed there was magic in the world, if only you knew where to look. Savannah animals, as savannah animals. Wow, look at Tala's coat. It's so beautiful and shiny. At first we were scared of her, but she's so kind and gentle. Tala never used her sharp claws or big teeth to hurt anyone. Instead, she used her strength to help others. She would carry young animals on her back across the river, or use her loud roar to scare away mean animals that tried to bully the smaller ones. Tala, I have many friends in the savannah, but I often feel different. I wonder why I am the only tiger with golden stripes. Where did I come from? Is there a place where other tigers like me live? These questions danced in her mind day and night. Little did Tala know, a great adventure was about to begin. An adventure that would answer her questions and change her life forever. Among all of Tala's friends, there was one who stood out. His name was Kito, and he was a small, quick meerkat with bright eyes and a bushy tail. Kito was always full of energy. He loved to climb to the top of termite mounds and shout jokes to make everyone laugh. Kito. Tala and I are an odd pair, but we are the best of friends. I admire her bravery and kindness. She loves my sense of humor and my clever ideas. They spent their days playing hide and seek in the tall grass, or having races to see who could reach the big baobab tree first. At night they'd lie on their backs and look up at the stars, making up stories about the shapes they saw in the twinkling lights. Kito. Tala, look at that star, it's moving. Tala looked where Kito was pointing. Sure enough, one star seemed to be dancing across the sky. It left a trail of sparkles behind it, like a cosmic paintbrush. The star zoomed around, making shapes and patterns. As they watched in wonder, the star spelled out words in the sky. Tala, seek the hidden valley, it wrote in glittering letters, where animals speak the language of stars. Tala and Kito looked at each other, their eyes wide with amazement. They knew at that moment that a great adventure was calling them. The Hidden Valley, a place where animals could talk to the stars. It sounded like magic. Without saying a word, they both knew they had to find this magical place. The next morning, Tala and Kito set out on their quest. They packed some berries and nuts in a big leaf. Tala carried it tied to her tail, while Kito rode on Tala's back, keeping a lookout for danger. They didn't know where the hidden valley was, but they felt sure they would find clues along the way. Their hearts were full of excitement as they left their familiar home behind. Savannah animals as savannah animals. Have you heard of the hidden valley? Some say it's just a silly story, but others whisper of a magical place beyond the mountains. As they traveled, they asked every animal they met about the hidden valley. Most had never heard of it. Some laughed and said it was just a silly story, but a few whispered that they had heard tales of a magical place. These animals pointed Tala and Kito towards the distant mountains, saying the valley might be hidden somewhere beyond the peaks. Tala, we've come too far to turn back now. The journey was not easy. They had to cross wide rivers where crocodiles snapped at them. Tala swam bravely, keeping Kito safe and dry on her back. They trudged through thick mud that tried to suck them down. Kito made up funny songs to keep their spirits high. At night, they huddled together for warmth. The stars seemed to shine brighter, as if encouraging them on their quest. Kito. We can do this, Tala. We've come so far already. One day they came to the edge of a dark forest. The trees were so tall and thick they blocked out the sun. Strange noises came from deep in the shadows. Tala and Kito looked at each other. They were scared, but they knew they had to be brave. Taking a deep breath, they stepped into the darkness of the forest. Little did they know their greatest challenge was waiting for them among the ancient trees. Deep in the heart of the dark forest, Tala and Kito came to a clearing. In the center stood an enormous old tree. Its branches reached up to the sky like gnarled fingers. Perched on the highest branch was the biggest owl they had ever seen. His feathers were silver and his eyes glowed like twin moons. This was Obe, the wisest and oldest creature in the forest. Obe, who dares to enter my forest? Tala as Tala. We are Tala and Kito. We seek the hidden valley where animals speak the language of stars. Obe's eyes twinkled with interest. Obe as Obe. Ah, many have sought this valley, but only those who are truly worthy may find it. To prove your worth, you must answer 3 riddles. Tala and Kito looked at each other nervously. They weren't sure they were clever enough to answer riddles, but they knew they had to try. Obe, as Obe. I have cities but no houses. I have mountains but no trees. I have water but no fish. What am I? Kito as Kito. I know, it's a map! Obe as Obe. Correct. Now for the second riddle. What has keys but no locks, space but no room? You can enter but not go in. What is it? Tala as Tala. A keyboard. Obe as Obe. Very good. Now for the final and most difficult riddle. Listen carefully. I'm not alive but I grow. I don't have lungs but I need air. I don't have a mouth but water kills me. What am I? Tala and Kito thought hard, ready to face this final challenge. Tala and Kito were stumped by Obe's final riddle. They thought and thought but couldn't come up with an answer.
Just when they were about to give up, Kito had an idea. He whispered to Tala and her eyes lit up. Fire! S1, fire!
Well done! You have proven yourselves worthy. The hidden valley lies beyond the great desert. May the stars guide your path. They shouted together. Obe clapped his wings.
With new determination, Tala and Kito set out towards the great desert. As they left the forest behind, the trees gave way to endless sand dunes. The sun beat down mercilessly. Tala's golden coat shimmered in the heat. Kito's fur was matted with sweat, but they pressed on, encouraging each other with every step. The desert was full of dangers. Sandstorms whipped around them, stinging their eyes and filling their mouths with grit. Tala used her body to shield Kito from the worst of it. They had to be careful of quicksand that could suck them down in seconds. Kito's sharp eyes spotted the danger zones just in time. At night, the temperature dropped so low that their teeth chattered. They huddled close, sharing warmth. Despite the hardships, the desert was beautiful too. They saw mirages that looked like shimmering lakes. The night sky was clearer than they had ever seen it. The stars seemed close enough to touch. One night they saw a shooting star streak across the sky. It left a trail of stardust that spelled out words. You're on the right path, keep going. Filled with new hope, Tala and Kito pushed on. They knew that each step brought them closer to the hidden valley. After days of traveling through the scorching desert, Tala and Kito finally reached the foot of a massive mountain range. The peaks were so high, their tops disappeared into the clouds. A thick mist swirled around the mountainsides, making it hard to see more than a few steps ahead.
This is it, Kito. Our toughest challenge yet.
I know, Tala, but we can do this together.
They started their climb, picking their way carefully over sharp rocks. The air grew colder as they went higher. Tala's breath came out in puffs of white steam. Kito's teeth chattered, but he refused to give up. They helped each other over steep cliffs and across narrow ledges. When the path was too dangerous for Kito, he rode on Tala's back. Tala used her strong claws to grip the slippery rocks.
Hold on tight, Kito. We're almost there.
The mist played tricks on their eyes. Sometimes they thought they saw shapes moving in the fog. Was it just their imagination, or were there other creatures watching them? Strange echoes bounced off the mountain walls. It sounded like whispers, but they couldn't make out the words. The higher they climbed, the thicker the mist became. Soon, they could barely see their own paws in front of them. Just when they thought they couldn't go on, something amazing happened. A gentle breeze blew through the mist, clearing it for a moment.
Look, Tala, do you see that?
In that brief instant, Tala and Kito saw a beautiful sight. High above them, nestled between two peaks, was a lush green valley. Colorful flowers dotted the grass, and a sparkling river wound through the center. They had found it at last, the hidden valley. With renewed energy, they scrambled up the last part of the mountain. Their hearts pounded with excitement. What wonders would they find in this magical place? As Tala and Kito approached the entrance to the hidden valley, they found their path blocked by a shimmering wall of light. It looked like a curtain made of starlight. In front of the wall stood a majestic lion with a flowing golden mane. His eyes twinkled like they held all the wisdom of the universe.
Welcome, brave travelers. I am the guardian of this valley. To enter, you must solve one final riddle.
Tala and Kito looked at each other nervously. They had come so far, they couldn't fail now. The lion spoke the riddle.
I have billions of eyes, yet I live in darkness. I have billions of ears, yet only 4 lobes. I have no muscle, yet I rule 2 hemispheres. What am I?
Tala and Kito were puzzled. This was the hardest riddle yet. They thought about all they had seen on their journey. The savannah, the forest, the desert, the mountains.
Tala, I think I have an idea.
What is it, Kito?
Kito whispered to Tala and her eyes lit up with understanding. Together they turned to the lion.
The answer is the human brain.
The lion's eyes widened in surprise, then he broke into a big smile.
Correct. You have proven your wisdom and courage. You may enter the hidden valley.
With a wave of his paw, the lion made the starlight curtain vanish. Tala and Kito stepped forward, their hearts pounding with excitement. As they entered the valley, they felt a strange tingling all over their bodies. Suddenly, they could hear voices all around them. In the rustling leaves, the bubbling stream, even in the very air itself. They realized with amazement that they could now understand the language of nature. Their greatest adventure was about to begin. As Tala and Kito stepped into the hidden valley, they were overwhelmed by its beauty. The grass was the brightest green they had ever seen, dotted with flowers of every color imaginable. Butterflies with wings like rainbow jewels fluttered from bloom to bloom. The air was filled with the sweetest scents they had ever smelled. A crystal-clear river wound through the valley, its water sparkling like liquid diamonds.
This place is incredible, Kito.
I've never seen anything like it.
But the most amazing thing was the animals. Creatures of all kinds lived here in harmony. There were animals Tala and Kito had never seen before, with fantastic shapes and colors. A purple giraffe with silver spots chatted with a blue elephant, whose trunk was shaped like a trumpet. A group of monkeys with fur that changed color like chameleons swung from tree to tree, laughing and playing.
Welcome, brave ones. We've been waiting for you.
Tala and Kito were surprised. How did these animals know who they were? A wise old tortoise with a shell that glowed like moonlight explained.
The stars told us you were coming. They said you would bring new stories and adventures to our valley.
Tala and Kito spent the day exploring the hidden valley. They swam in pools of water that felt like liquid starlight. They ate fruits that tasted like sunshine and moonbeams. As night fell, something even more magical happened. The stars came down from the sky and danced among the animals. Tala and Kito watched in wonder as the star creatures twirled and spun, leaving trails of glittering stardust behind them. They realized that this was what it meant to speak the language of stars, to be one with the magic of the universe. As the night deepened, Tala and Kito found themselves surrounded by the dancing stars. These weren't just points of light, they were living beings, full of wisdom and magic. One star, shining brighter than the rest, floated up to Tala.
We've been watching your journey. Your bravery and kindness have earned you a great gift. We will teach you the language of stars.
Over the next few days, Tala and Kito learned amazing things. They discovered that everything in nature, every tree, every rock, every drop of water, had its own story to tell. The language of stars wasn't just about words, it was about feeling the rhythms of the earth and sky. It was about understanding the deep connections between all living things.
Kito, I can hear the songs of flowers as they bloom.
And I can read messages in the patterns of leaves.
Their greatest adventure was just beginning as they learned to speak the language of stars and became one with the magic of the universe.